What's going on? Just finished up my workout. Hit the sauna. Like I said in the last video, sweated out all the demons. So I felt great. On this video, I kind of want to talk about a comment that somebody left me recently. Randy the Explorer. I'll paste the image right here, but you know, he's saying, just wondering if you'd be able to do a POV drive with commentary on how you got to where you're at and any advice for others to be able to move towards being able to own an M4. Looking forward to some more videos from you. I appreciate the comment. It's a great question. I think that it really boils down to three things, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in today's video. I'm gonna go head home, but before I stop at home, I'm gonna actually get some shots of the car. So I'll try to find some good little parking spots somewhere. But you know, commentary on how I got to where I'm at. It's a kind of a, sorry for the squeaky brakes, I just washed my car, so. But yeah, you know, how I got to where I'm at, it's everybody's got their different, you know, their own little stories, their own kind of reasons for where they're at in their lives, and I won't get too deep into that for myself, but I will talk about, like, you know, how I got here and how I'm able to afford ownership on one of my dream cars, the F82 M4. So really, I think it boils down to three things. You know, how, you know, if you can understand how much you can afford, then it really just makes things a lot easier. And I think it really comes down to three things, obviously: your monthly payment, if you're financing, your insurance payment, and third, maintenance and mods. I guess there'll be maybe some other things in there somewhere, but I think those are the biggest three, right? Like, to determine if you can afford, like, this car or any car, really, is those three things. So we'll get into that in a little bit, but I guess I'll talk about, like, you know, my backstory. So I went to college, graduated from college in 2018, and hit the job market right after that. You know, I didn't get a good degree at all. I got a degree in literally just general, I think it was called social sciences. It's just a general studies degree, you know, nothing special about it at all. But I went into sales, and that taught me, you know, a lot of important transferable skills that a lot of companies look for. You know, every good company has a good sales department, and every company, for that matter, has a sales department for the most part. So if you got sales skills, consider yourself very valuable. And that's how I took my approach after college, really. Just kind of went into financial services, got licensed to be a financial advisor, and yeah, it's really just been sort of a wild experience from there. I'm no longer a financial advisor. I still carry my licenses, so I can't really give any financial advice on social media or any platforms like this, so I won't be giving anything like that. But I do want to say, like, the most important thing that has helped me get to where I'm at today is, quite simply, a good career. If you don't have the income, you know, you can't afford a car, let alone an M car. Let's just be honest. You gotta have a good income. And I really just attribute everything to that, you know, hard work, a steady income, reliable income, and then you can start to branch out and take risks and go from there. And, you know, but mainly, I kind of wanted to get into, like, the three buckets that I was talking about, like monthly payment, insurance payment, and maintenance and mods. I'll keep it real brief, because this video is not about cost of ownership, really. It's more about like how I got here and stuff. But I'm gonna park here and get some bids real quick. Hold up. Of course, there's a guy with a leaf blower right there, so probably not gonna go out there and talk for a little bit, but you know, let's break it down into 3 buckets. Your monthly car payment. For a car like a M4, a 2020, you're probably looking in the range of, I don't know, for a nice one, 45K to 60K if you're looking at a CS. If you're looking in that price range, right, like your monthly car payment, if you're financing, is gonna be somewhere around 500 to $1,000 bucks. Now, if you're not financing and you're just paying outright cash, this video is probably really not for you, because you can afford to just buy your car in cash. So second, obviously your insurance payment, that's gonna run you anywhere from like $150 a month to, I don't know, $400 a month if you have shitty driving history. If you got tickets, car crashes, things like that, you know, you're looking at more expensive ownership for this car. Let's just be real. And then your maintenance and mods. Honestly, maintenance on this car, everybody always says like it's so expensive to run, so expensive to upkeep and everything like that. But the reality is like, it's not. If you do everything like on time, if you do your oil changes, keep up with your car, it's really not like terrible. Now, if you don't keep up with your car and you don't do the daily or the, you know, whatever, you know, if your service comes up and it tells you you need an oil change and you put that off for 2 or 3 months, well, you're gonna suffer the consequences. You know, whatever's gonna happen from that, it's gonna be expensive. You're looking at, you know, 2 to 3 times more expensive for repairs on M cars than on non-M cars. So you gotta be real careful, and you gotta be able to do, you gotta be able to afford your maintenance. So factor that in, obviously. But an oil change, honestly, is like, you know, not that expensive. I pay, I don't know, I don't change my own oil, obviously, but you're looking at, I don't know, 100, 150 bucks for an oil change. Like it's people always blow it up and they're like, fucking 300 bucks for an oil change. You know, M cars aren't for me, blah, blah, M tax. It's like really not that serious. It's not that expensive. So, put all that together, you're looking at, I don't know, $1,000 a month on affording this car. So I'm gonna turn the car off. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I don't know how loud this is gonna be with all these leaf blowers going on out here, but anyways, you know how I got here, like I said, a good salary, a good steady income, and you know, fill out a calculator on like how much car you can afford and see what's comfortable for you, and go from there. It's really that simple. So I got the towel in the seat because I was in the sauna. I don't want to ruin my seats, but it's a little windy out here, so I'm gonna hop in here. But like I said, I went to school, got a degree. It really didn't help me much. I think having a sales mindset and being able to get out there and hustle for your paycheck is really what got me to where I'm at today. But like anything, figure out what you can afford and live below your means. And like I said, I can't really give you financial advice, or I can't give you really any advice on this matter, but you just, you know, you get to a point when you get older and you realize you can start affording things, and just be smart about it. That's really all I can say. Don't go into a situation that you can't get out of. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. You know, why would you buy something you can't afford? I mean, it's quite simple, you know. So yeah, for me, for me, I try to keep my total expenses for the car, including everything that I've already talked about, either at or under, you know, about 15% of my monthly income. So yeah, that's about that. But if you're considering getting an M car, just, you know, do your due diligence on it. That's what I'd say. All right, we ended up in a parking garage, so drove around for a little bit, took some short form videos so that I could post those on TikTok and Instagram and whatnot. Could be a loud start up here. So, yeah, now you know a little bit about my my story, how I got here, and, you know, like I said, what's worked for me is just having an income that can afford the car. It's really that simple, but getting there is, I think, the hard part. It's, you know, if you're in college right now, if you're in high school, it's a lot to consider. Like what to do, you know, with your life, or what career path to pursue, whatnot. Damn, I didn't know that was a diagonal crosswalk in the street. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Interesting. But no, man, I mean, I think as like a big brother advice, you know, if I were to have a big brother, or if I had a little brother, you know, what I'd tell them is just work your ass off, man. That's, you know, if you got a goal, you know, what's stopping you from hitting that goal? You know, really sit yourself down and ask yourself, you know, are you just being lazy? Are you not putting the time in? Think about like a video game, man. The best video game players I know, that's all they do. They spend their most of their time doing that. The best golfers I know, that's all they do. All of their off time from work, just put into golf. So if your goal is, you know, to drive an M4, obviously you know that it costs money. And sit yourself down, man, and ask yourself how you're gonna get that money. What job is gonna be able to allow you to achieve all of these things? For me, this M4 was the first goal, big goal, that I achieved for myself. You know, when I was younger, I'd always dream of this car. And I told myself, when I am able to make my money, or when I am able to, you know, afford it, and I'm making good money to be able to afford it, I'm sending it and I'm buying the car. Now, I'm not telling you to do that, but, you know, I think that what helped me be able to achieve that is a steady foundation, putting my head down, not going out and partying every weekend, not wasting my money on silly little toys and trinkets, although some may consider this a toy. I don't, you know, it's just a lifelong goal of mine. And so save your money, live below your means, and that's how you'll be able to get in the seat of an M4, in my opinion. Some people are born into it. I personally wasn't. I was not, and I didn't come from a wealthy family. My dad worked really hard and taught me and instilled in me the fundamental skills and characteristics that lead to a successful life. I think not only like in the form of like being able to purchase fancy cars and stuff like that, but you know, creating a foundation for you and your future family. And that's what's most important. Is if you can't afford a car like this, you can probably afford a really great lifestyle. You know, and that's to me, that's the most important thing, is being able to afford a home, care for my kids one day when I have them, and yeah, that's it. This car is just, you know, sort of a milestone, and you know, a way for me to tell myself like, okay, I'm a hard worker, let's keep it you know, let's stay motivated, keep the motivation up, and just keep working hard. So sort of a little insight as far as how I got in the seat of my M4. So I appreciate you guys watching, appreciate you tuning in, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.